All right, so Alex picked out some great stuff for us today. This today is going to be about Penn and Teller, but not about Penn and Teller Fool Us, which I would call the second century of Penn and Teller. The entire first century of Penn and Teller was back when they used to do magic shows, and they were like the biggest name in magic throughout the 80s and 90s. They've had a rebirth, and so we're going to take a look back in time at some older footage that I think
very exciting. I literally became a magician because I watched a Penn and Teller PBS special.
It still stands up and it's still as strong as ever. It's a great ride. If you're interested, go watch that PBS special. It's called Penn and Teller Go Public. It's really, really, they're as good as they get for magic. And it's awesome to see them become elder statesmen, you know?
In our live event on Forces, we taught the Force that they taught in that TV special to regular people. And it's still just one of the best Forces you'll ever find. It's so good. What are we going to watch first?
Here it is right here. This is, everybody see this?
Yes.
Saying our final one is without a doubt our most famous and definitely our best looking. It's also their show, so they may or may not have made me say that last part. Okay, it's time to see them do a trick. Ladies and gentlemen, go crazy for Penn and Teller.
Definitely, Penn has always watched it away.
We'd like to address a classic of magic, or actually the classic of magic. As a matter of fact, it's the cliche of magic. It's a cliche that when someone does something impossible, they've pulled a rabbit out of their hat. And it is the icon of magic to have a 19th century magician with a top hat and a wand, a little tap.
Is it loud enough?
Rabbit coming out, and every magician does this. Every magician we've had out here is part of their routine. They will pull a rabbit out of their hat. Every birthday party magician you see, every backyard magician, every magician on Broadway or on the Strip. No. It's a really rare trick. It's the cliche of magic, and yet classic of magic, or actually the classic of magic. As a matter of fact, I'd never seen it. Everyone's seen it. Teller sees more magic than I do. He's never seen it either. We've never seen that simple trick of a top hat, a wand, a couple of taps, and out of there comes a live rabbit. There's a few reasons you haven't seen it. One is it's become an anachronism. In the 19th century, when this became a cliche, many men wore top hats in the theater. They're called opera hats. They fold up to go into the seat. But now it's very, very rare to see a man or a woman wearing a top hat in 21st century Las Vegas. Maybe when there's cosplay in town, or maybe there's somebody who's into steampunk, we'll see one or two. Mostly we see a cowboy hat now and again, and a baseball hat or a cap. I'm just gonna loan this to you, if I may, and just, you make sure you fold it up, open it up, fold it up, open it up, put it on your head, kind of make it your own for a little while. I'm loaning it to you right here. So since they can't borrow a top hat, they'll use something else. They'll use what magicians call a silk, which is really just a handkerchief. And they can do a lot of routines with those. There's a lot of magic developed for this. And they'll have a picture of a top hat on a silk, and they'll pull out a rabbit. But it's a rabbit pulled out of a picture of a top hat, not a top hat. It's also not a real rabbit. This is what's called a kicker. It's sold in magic stores, very expensive. It's a spring covered in fur, and if you puppeteer it properly, which Teller does, at least in the long shot, kind of looks like a real rabbit. It makes the magic much easier because you can compress this, you can kind of palm it, you can also hide it up your sleeve. It's easier to handle this, and it also deals with another problem, another anachronism, which is in the 19th century, we didn't really care very much how animals were treated, but the sphere of compassion for humanity has grown. In the 21st century, we insist, magicians and audiences alike, that life is treated with compassion, dignity, and respect. So it makes it really hard to do the...
First of all, they have used the anachronism twice. Steve Barcelona, I need a ruling. Is that overshoot the Barcelona penalty?
I think it does. I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot of words.
Is it that it's multisyllabic, or is it that it's ostentatious, or is it,
I'm going to say yes.
What's the issue? Explain it to the people.
I don't think I know what it means.
Okay, anachronism. I've always found anachronism to be weird. Second, first time I ever heard a magician use the word palm, it was Penn and Teller.
Oh.
Right? So I was 14 years old, and they started to do a card trick. And Penn said, "Oh, Teller, they see your palm there. You can't do that, you know?" And I thought, oh, what's that? It's fascinating. It's a great old ruse. Do you see the way Penn uses the word palm? Like everybody and their brother knows what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a word y'all knew what it meant the first time you heard it?
No. That's secret language. You know, it's we throw around things like palm all the time in the club here, but that's secret language.
It was the Penn and Teller card stab. They used the word pass. They used the word palm. They saw your pass, Teller. And I went, what's that?
It's sort of the equivalent of someone doing like the snake oil pitch, right? It's just something from another time that you've never heard before unless you're sort of on the in with that so that it makes sense. And you have to go and seek that out. You have to seek those people out. Magic is that. You have to seek it out. And it's a great device, right? What a great device on stage.
So I think what an anachronism is, I had to figure it out because it got so annoying to me that I just had no idea, is that it's when you use something totally out of time context, but people don't realize it, right? They don't, it doesn't register with people, right, at all, that I only know about this because I'm here now. If I was there then, that wouldn't have made any sense. That sword didn't exist then at all, you know? Yeah, right. There'll be some video, some movie that takes place in the 1200s, but someone's clearly using a sword that wasn't invented till the 1700s.
Rabbit out of the hat trick. Does anybody here have a top hat? Anybody have a top hat in the audience? Is there a top hat? You have a top hat. Can you go up here, please? Right up here. Yeah. Bring your top hat with you right up here, please. Thank you so much. What is your name, please? Hello, Kat. My name is Penn. This is Teller right here, Kat. And Kat, take a look at that top hat. May I borrow the top hat back for a moment, please, Kat? Thank you so much. And now, Kat, did you get a chance to fold it up like this?
I did.
And you open it up like that? You did all that? Did you look around on the inside?
Yeah.
It's completely empty. Because I'm going to show this to the camera, but it's black on black. So I take a magic wand. Here's the trick that you wanted to see, the cliche. Borrowed top hat. Borrowed from Kat. Couple of taps right here. Circular gesture, and then out of that top hat comes a rod. You can touch it. That's our rabbit, Wossie. That's Wossie the rabbit right there. Wossie. Say hi to Wossie. Is that a real rabbit right there?
It is.
There it is, the classical magic, a live rabbit out of a borrowed top hat. Thank you so much, Kat. Right there. Watch your step right back there. That is our rabbit, Wossie.
What do you think of the odds that was really her top hat?
No.
How many times y'all tried to find a top hat and only to give up on finding one that pops open when you were kids?
There was one that came with like this Houdini magic set you could buy. It was made of like half plastic and cloth, but it would pop open a little bit.
I remember having one of those real pop open hats. Like someone gifted it to me and they said, you should do that trick with the rabbit. This is the perfect hat for it.
You know, watching that video there, Alex, it reminds me of Frank Brentz, one of my mentors. Frank Brentz used to come out on stage and he would show this giant cloth, crumple it up, whatever, open it up. He would reach underneath it and he would produce a live duck, not a rabbit, a huge duck, right? And then he would set it down and then he would reach underneath it and he would produce a second live duck. And then he would open up the cloth and he would show the cloth and then he would reach underneath it and he would produce a third one and then a fourth one. And so Frank was like the man, and he would go to these magic conventions and he would kill people. They had no idea how he was doing these duck productions, giant duck productions, right? So when I finally got to, you know, when Frank finally showed me how it was done, I was amazed because he literally just had these ducks hanging, one of them hanging on his back. Okay. And so he would do these duck loads by shifting his weight and the duck would swing around his body right into his hand. But here's the thing, right? Because you can only fit one duck on your back at a time. So he would have his assistants come out And as they would come out to get the duck, they would hang a new duck on his back.
Yes. That is showbiz right there.
So was there really only 2 ducks and they just rotated and it looked like there was 4?
No, he had 4. And when I first met Frank Brentz, it was on a cruise ship, and he was working a cruise ship, and he had in his cabin, he had 2 ducks living in his bathtub on a cruise ship.
Oh.
Living in a cruise ship bathtub.
The worst.
Oh my gosh.
That literally sounds awful.
It is the worst.
Oh my gosh.
Well, what a great closer.
He had like 12 doves in there too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just like
Travel with 6 or 8 doves, and you'll really reconsider the choices you've made.
That's how people end up vanishing bananas.
That's right. That's how you end up doing the vanishing banana. You travel with doves for a while.
Right.
But hey, did you notice chicks dig rabbits, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think in general everybody digs rabbits. They're
I mean, I tell you, if you're a single magician, you want to attract some attention. I'm just saying.
Unpleasant to live with.
They can be.
Yeah.
Ah.
I had Buddy Bunny, who lived a long time, and he was litter box trained and just kind of hung out.
Did you produce Buddy the Bunny?
Yeah, I did Doves to Rabbit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and Buddy was like gigantic. He was like this huge rabbit who thought he was a dog.
We had a rabbit when I was a kid that was like that. He would go in a litter box and he sort of just hung out and would come and sit on the couch with us and
hang out.
Cool. Yeah.
They are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I said we were going to watch old Penn and Teller footage. What I should have said is we're going to watch before and after, right? So we've got newer footage first, then we got older footage. All right, let's take a look at this next clip, you guys. This is, I think this is really, really cool. This is called, well, I have a bad habit of telling you what it's about to be. Let's just watch it. Can't win teller in poker.
This is something that we've talked about here in the community, and this is in this collection on purpose because I think Penn and Teller are one of their great gifts is putting dressing onto effects that you might have read and sort of just passed by. This is an effect we all know, but they made it into a showpiece, a stage piece. And I think it's a great example of the work that Penn and Teller do, and very inspirational. Enjoy. This is very cool.
Oh, thank you. You know, we have been here at the Penn and Teller Theater at the Rio in Las Vegas for 17 years. And that makes us the longest running headliners in the history of Las Vegas. And the Rio just re-upped us. I'm announcing it here for the first time for another 4 years. Another 4 years we'll be playing here. And there's only one thing that's in the way of it, and that is it's pretty important for a Vegas act. Teller has a gambling problem. And Teller has the worst gambling problem possible if you want to work for a casino, and that is that Teller always wins. No matter what he's doing, he always wins. And the Rio hates that and said if we can't show that Teller can sometimes lose, they're going to take away our contract. So we need someone to beat Teller. And who better to do that than our buddy, Tom Green? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Hey. All you've got to do, Tom, all you've got to do, Tom, is beat Teller at one hand of poker. That's all you got to do.
Okay, I can do
so
that.
we're going to play a game of poker. You know the ranks of cards. And so on.
Yeah.
Okay, no. You're not going to use these. See, Tom, right away he was trying to cheat. You have to check for mark cards. You have to check for them? You do what's called going to the movies, right? Okay. You just flip the back of the cards like this, and if anything moves around on the back, those cards are marked. So those little dots moving around there?
Yeah, they're all marked, right?
Any deck of cards you check like that, you can see if they're marked. And also, if I'm not mistaken, I know his style, he's got 2 aces on the bottom and 2 on the top. He can second deal, and he can bottom deal and cheat you that way. So we're not going to use these cards. We'll use cards that he can't palm. Now, I don't think he can palm these cards. Put your hand there. Yeah, he's not going to be able to palm that, is he?
Okay, no.
And these are not marked, I don't believe. Nope, they are not marked. What I'd like you to do, he could also do a bottom deal. Why don't you just count off 10 cards? Just count off 10. We'll just use the 10 right here. Yeah.
Okay.
And this way, if he's only using 10 cards, then he can't switch, he can't bottom deal, he can't do anything. So Tom's going to deal out the 10 cards, and then Tom will beat him at poker, and we'll go another 4 years here.
Oh, sounds good.
You got
He's doing it again. I love all the language.
All the jargon.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
You got all.
Huh?
Have you ever seen such a wildly marked deck of cards in your entire life? If you've got a deck of cards that has got drops of bleach on each card like that, you don't cheat with that unless you're working for illusionists. Don't do it.
Big tip there, guys. Big tip.
10 there. Get these out of his way. We're done with those. Okay, Teller. Now Tom will beat you. Go ahead. Just deal them out.
Okay.
I don't feel good about this either, because this way he could have controlled that in some way, Tom. So you tell me, which one of these cards do you want?
Okay.
Which one do you want Teller to have? You tell me. It's your decision. Just win is all I care about, Tom. Just win. Okay. Which one do you want?
I'll take that one.
Pull it towards you. Pull it towards you.
Thank you very
We'll put
much.
this one over here.
All right.
Okay, these next two are going to be dealt out here, and you tell me, which card do you want? Which card will make you win? Come on, Tom. Tell me, which card will make you win?
That one.
You sure?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You sure?
No, okay, I'll take that one.
You want to change your mind?
No, I'll go with the original.
Original one?
Yeah,
Want to
original.
change your mind?
This one.
Okay, you already got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now the next one, we're going to have you pick which one you want out of these two, okay? Just do that. Which one do you want? Which one do you want there?
Give me that one.
This one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, slide it over.
Thank
Slide
you.
it
Just
over.
take it. Just
Okay,
take
now
it.
I'll
Okay.
put a couple for Teller. Which one of those you want? Which one's a stinky one? Which one's a Limburger? Which one sucks? Give him the worst card of those two.
That's the stinky one.
Take it over. Take it over. There we go. Now, do another. Which one goes to Teller here and that? Which one goes to Teller?
That one.
Take that one to Teller. Okay, right over here. And now, we'll go another one for you. This is for you, Tom. Which one do you want? For you.
That one for me, please.
That one for you.
Thank you.
Here.
Thank you.
And one more for Teller. Mm-hmm. Which one do you want to go to Teller? Which is the bad one?
Not to Teller.
That one's the bad one. Yeah, okay. Now we got two left. No. Look at your cards, Tom.
Okay.
We're gonna make this so you can win. No trouble. Look at them. Look at them. Look at the hand you got. How about do something that's never been done in history? Because you got to win, Tom. You got to win, Tom.
Yeah.
Now you tell me, Tom. Which one of these cards will make your hand better? Which one do you want?
Take that one, please.
You sure?
Yes, please.
That's the one you want?
Yes, please.
Take the one right there.
Yeah.
And we'll give this one to Teller. What do you got? What do you got?
Not bad.
Oh, not bad at all.
Not bad.
He's got a full house.
That's right.
He's got nines full of aces. Nines full of aces.
Not bad.
Okay. We got it. We got
Pretty
it.
good at this.
And what's Teller got? Let me see what Teller's got here.
Pretty good at this.
Teller's got not even a pair. Yeah, he's got a royal flush. And you made every decision there, Tom. Every single decision. You couldn't help us out.
Wow.
Okay, I guess we'll see you on next year from.
Yeah, man. I love, dude, right after we did a show in Conjure Community about this trick, Alex, that you taught this poker deal, I immediately started doing it. And I went and did it for my dad and just killed him with it. Because when you teach, the way you teach it, you've got like 5 phases in there where each time, I mean, it seems like they've got, every time they've got free choice and every time they lose. It's pretty
such
good.
a killer trick. And what a great handling of that trick, right? It makes it into a completely new showpiece. That's so different than what you're doing when you're doing close-up, but it plays so big, and it's Penn and Teller. Like, it's Penn and Teller written all over the thing. I love it. It's a showpiece that showcases who they are, in addition to being that wonderful, wonderful trick. So cool.
Yeah, no doubt. There's the last phase of that too, Alex, that I really love, and it's the one where you do the add. You add that last card on from the deck. The very last phase in that. They didn't do it, but when you teach it, you put all the cards on top of the deck, and then the person gets to deal. Anyway, there's a last.
Right. There's a different. We went over all that plot is basically the 10-card poker deal, and we covered a lot of ground in that 10-card poker deal show that we did. And it just, so I think that there was a couple different things, and I'm glad that they sort of blended together and they're just one thing, but there's definitely different routines. Go and check it out. Go in the back room and go and watch that, because there's another version of that trick that uses pretty much a shuffle deck. And it's just, it's sort of, you're wringing a couple more drops out of it, like Adam's saying, than you are out of this Bannon thing. The Bannon thing, I think, is the cleanest, and it's almost the self-working one. But the other one, you can get some real nice psychological battles going on, these pseudo-psychological battles that really are fun to play with. And it's I'm a fan of the plot. I think it's really one of the cooler card tricks out there. I hope you guys go and check it out. And then this one is Power of Poker. This is John Bannon's handling of it, which I think it's pretty tough to beat. It's really.
What's the name of that show where you trained on that?
I think it might just be called a 10-card poker deal.
Poker deal, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Because there's like 30 different ways to start with 10 cards, and basically in 1,000 different ways have the spectator pick which cards they want, and always lose, right? And it's all based on one principle, basically.
That's right.
And Harry Lorraine, in his book Close-Up Card Magic many, many years ago, really had the version of it that everybody loves so much, regardless of which phases you like to do, and whether you had one Jonah card, you had two Jonah cards. It's all based on something called the Jonah card, which I won't describe here. But fascinating. And the key has always been, how do you take it between a spectator, play the game over and over again? Same as the shell game, same as a lot of these other games, where no matter what they do, they lose. So the game is how to make it, it gets more impossible as it goes on, but the skill is in presenting it traditionally so that people find it to be appealing. The whole Lorraine premise was, I want you to win. I want you to win. I'm going to make this even clearer so now you have a better chance to win because I want you to win. So in addition to using the Bannon method here, which is one and done, right? Just one beautiful test conditions, every card, and then this perfect ending, this picture perfect ending, right? In addition to that, it packed it all into one phase, had a real good reason for wanting you to win, right? Penn is really actually both of them really want you to win because it's the only way for them to keep their gig, right? And in addition, having the third person, having the intermediary, really, it's a little bit hard to keep selling to the audience that you want them to win when you want to win, you're going to win every time. By Penn being there, it's that same thing they always do when they set up Teller as a master sleight-of-hand artist, which is Penn beats up on Teller. And he, on the side of the audience, is going to keep Teller from cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so it's that same sort of classic Penn and Teller setup.
Yeah. And what's interesting, Aaron, is that like when we look at this, so what we just saw were two modern day presentations by Penn and Teller. Okay. Now, when we take a step back many years and look at earlier Penn and Teller, you're going to see that there's still threads of that. I mean, they always were the most creative force in magic, even when they were angering magicians in the 80s, right? When they exposed, quote, the thumb tip on national TV. It was still, I mean, I remember how much magicians hated Penn and Teller. Think about how much they're revered now in our art, right? I mean, how much the tables turn in just 20 or 30 years. But this is a look at old Penn and Teller, not the oldest, but it is older. And you'll watch how the thread is still there. I mean, they always had this amazing creative energy and creative force that they were able to bring to presentation of magic. All right, let's check it out.
As I've said many times before, my name is Penn Jillette. It's my partner Teller. We are Penn and Teller. We've been on the show a zillion times. We've always done a lot of tricks for Dave. But if we could, like, do a trick for Paul. Can you come out here?
For me?
Yeah, come out here. We're gonna do a trick for you.
Sure, I'd love.
Just come right over here.
All for me. I'm gonna do a trick.
Have you stand
For
right here,
me?
Paul. Yeah, for you, Paul. And
Really?
Since you've,
I'm thrilled.
We're gonna do a sleight of hand for you.
For me.
And
I love sleight of hand.
Good. And since you've watched a lot of us doing the sleight of hand, you know some of my
I've
tells.
seen a lot of close-up magicians.
You've seen a lot. I'm afraid you might be too good. I don't want to get caught. So I'm going to ask you to take your glasses off.
Take my glasses off
just
so
a
I
little
don't
bit out
see
of focus. I just want
so
you to look
well.
at it. Your ocular hygiene is astonishing, Paul. These
Well,
are so
I didn't clean them.
No, they're very clean. They're very clean. Mine often look like I cleaned them off with a beef patty, but these are beautiful. Now you can see me okay. You can see me okay.
Ocular
kind of
hygiene. I
a little
can
bit,
still see you, yeah.
A little bit soft focus, but still nice.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put these right here where they'll be safe.
Put them in there.
Paul?
All
now,
right.
Paul,
Careful with those.
The audience's relationship
Those
with you.
are prescription.
I know they are. These are too. It's very different. Their relationship with me, they trust you in a different way. So if you were not here with me and I were going to show a billiard ball and just say that's a billiard ball, some people watching at home wouldn't believe me because they sell billiard ball shells that are used for manipulation. They sell collapsible billiard balls. And some wouldn't believe me just because I'm a liar. So if I wanted to show the solidity of that object, I might go over here and just do something like this. But with you here, I don't have to do that because,
The audience trusts me.
but I still do it because it annoys Teller, and that brings me joy. With you here, I can just have you examine the billiard ball. Really to examine it thoroughly, okay, Paul? Check it out carefully.
I say yes.
Paul's going to use this magic wand. And Teller, look toward Paul a little bit, would you? There you go. Now, is that a real billiard ball?
I believe it is, yeah. It has the weight of a real billiard.
Okay, good. It's solid. Is this a real magic wand? I know.
To the best of my knowledge, yes, this is a real magic wand. Yeah.
Here's what's going to happen. This is not attached to anything, is that right? Okay,
It's
watch
not
this.
attached to anything. No.
I'm gonna tap this 3 times.
Okay.
On the 3rd time, this is gonna vanish. Okay, Paul? You all sit up. Now you can see okay, right?
I can see
Oh, here we go. Here we
see
go,
well
Paul.
enough.
And 1,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Well, the wand disappeared. Well, wait a minute. It's right behind your ear. Well, that was a very good.
What was that?
Was
Was that about?
Come on now. Come on now.
What was that? About 2 seconds? How long did I put? About 2 seconds. So for that 2 seconds, you experienced like full body Disney
I
wonder.
thought
didn't you?
that, yeah.
Then you glanced up here,
Then
and
I
the
saw I was just up there. All you
waveform
did was
collapsed
that.
and went to
Yeah, you
abject
just went like
disappointment.
that. Yeah. Yeah. So
That's
now,
all I got, Paul. But fortunately for everyone, it's a 2-person performing ensemble.
Oh.
And Teller is a lot better than I am, a lot better. So I'm going to show you something now. What did I fool you? You said 2 seconds, maybe a second and a half?
Took about
This
2
might
seconds
fool you a
until
little longer, Paul. Watch this. Watch every move carefully. You're going to want to remember this, Paul.
Oh my goodness.
You want to remember every
that's a
little,
cinder block. Oh
every
my!
little
Look
bit
at
of
it.
this, Paul.
It's a cinder block. What are you doing?
Now,
to
Paul, I don't expect you to be able to see that far
Well,
without your glasses.
how did you-
So go right up there and pluck those
Yeah, I
glasses
know
off.
they're my good. Teller. How are
And
you?
put them on your own face rather
Okay,
dramatically,
please.
would you please?
That was. Well,
And if you, you can clean them off. I have a little
Wow.
lens cleaner there for
Thank you.
Paul Schaefer. Paul Schaefer.
Wow.
That's Teller.
Never ever seen that before.
I've
That-
never seen that either.
Object to an impossible location. It's the.
But
Bill
do you know what
11, right? It's wonderful.
You know what's interesting about it? They didn't feel any need to like do a big vanish of the glasses or anything like that that would really telegraph. It was like he had a great reason for taking them away, and that was good enough.
Such was the impossibility of the location. The impossible location was sealed in concrete and in plain view before the glasses were ever borrowed. When you have that kind of clarity and that kind of impossibility, I mean, it was inside the block of concrete, inside the helmet on his face, you know, making it disappear is almost telegraphing the ending, right?
Right, exactly. That's exactly what I meant, yeah.
It's
It's just
interesting.
great.
Because now I'm thinking about the billiard ball, right? Like what was the like the billiard ball
Smoke.
was
It was
definitely
just smoke.
the smoke.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, he needed a reason to turn and knock it on the thing and do the thing. But it was
Like it was a middle. He just needed a middle. Like there'd be no middle. He'd borrow the glasses for no reason. He'd take the hammer, he'd go crush open the cube.
Yeah.
And that would be a straight line, you know? So he borrowed the glasses so I could get you to help me with the thing, and it's just enough to get that away from there.
Well, it's interesting because what I wonder is, well, the billiard, something was necessary. Like Penn had to move over there towards the box so he could do the business. Okay, so he needed something. So the billiard ball was integral to the method.
So that he could tap on the cube. So he could walk over, cross over to Teller and tap on the cube.
Right.
He walks over twice, right? He walks over to tap, and then he walks over again to say, "No, turn this way, Teller," and that's when he loads the thing, right?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it's just getting the audience used to the idea that he's going to go close to Teller, and there's no reason to be suspicious about it. And that's what that little routine with the billiard ball offers, is that it's just all innocent. It seems like it's just a stupid trick, right? Until you get to the end, and you go, "Whoa, that was a miracle." It's good. It's strong. That seems to be like the pattern that they follow when they create these things. And it's astounding that they're able to do it again and again and have that same pattern be the thing that gets you there, where you go at the end, it's a miracle. I have no idea how.
Isn't it? Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I was just going to say, though, isn't like Paul Schaefer's like what's the word I'm looking for? He's just patronizing so hard that you're just like, it's like palatable. You're like, I can't even listen to it anymore. You know?
I couldn't tell whether that was just he was unlistenable or he was being patronizing and he was already unlistenable.
That's his business, dude. That's his
Yeah.
business.
He's doing his business.
He's doing
Alex,
His business.
would you say that this particular sort of Penn and Teller format is really suited and designed for television? Because it's really like, what's the minimum amount of components to get to a big ending for a big TV reveal?
Yeah, I
Rather
think
than,
when you watch a lot of those David Letterman appearances that Penn and Teller did, they are that, right? You have the element of Penn beating up Teller. He's sort of beating up the little guy because he's a bigger guy. And then he has all this stuff about a pseudo trick that's happening that you don't care about. And then at the end, you have that giant reveal. Like those elements seem to be present in all of these pieces that they put together. And it just speaks again to they have a style, they have a personality, right? It is Penn and Teller. When you see it, there's no denying that it's Penn and Teller. And that's tough as a performer. It's tough to sort of create that identity like that to where you see it and within 10 seconds, you're like, right, this is Penn and Teller. You know, even if you just heard them speak and didn't see them visually, you would know this is Penn and Teller.
it's like what, for these TV audiences, it's like cold traffic. It's like people who've never seen them before, people for whom they really need to get the idea of Penn and Teller across quickly with that core idea of Penn being at odds with Teller. And also the initial setup is this visually arresting thing. I remember when they came out on stage with the giant deck of cards on a forklift.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's always a very clear visual setup that arrests the eye and lodges in your brain forever. And then as brief as they can getting to that big reveal, rather than when you see them on stage, an awful lot of stuff has got a lot more middle to it.
Yeah, also too, when you think about this trick, like I'd never seen this trick before, and that's because I didn't see that Letterman episode. And the truth is that they created this trick to go on that show.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably never did this trick ever again on stage or in a show anywhere else ever again. At least I never saw it. I may be wrong, but I think probably they sat down and created this just for this show, right? So it was a one-off for them. And it's so cool to see somebody that, you got to think like how much thought they had to actually put a lot of thought into that. I mean, that wasn't just something you could sit down and think of in an hour. There was a lot of thought. The methods involved in that, like what was going on with Teller's arms, like the whole, what had to be built for that method to work.
Does it seem to you like they worked that one backwards? Like,
Sure.
this is how we want it to end. And then they just kind of worked it backwards from there and figured out what it could be.
That seems like a good method to get to that presentation. Yeah.
Those guys do that show several nights a week, and it's a full evening show in Las Vegas. But every morning they're up, and by 11 o'clock, we're in rehearsal, working all day long. And now they're shooting a TV show. They've always been, when they're not on stage, they're off to rehearsal. They were in rehearsal all day, or shooting something all day, or, they've maintained this incredible professional performance schedule while doing what amounts to 2 full-time jobs in addition, to keep their calendar of appearances, which are the real secret, I think they will tell you, to how they've kept that show for so long, is that they are constantly doing stuff in the mass media in order to sell tickets.
They've been on television aside from the magic stuff, right? For like the past 20 years. They had that show, the BS show that they had running for a long time, where it was debunking all those ideas that are in
that was a good
the
show.
mainstream. It was a great show, but they were doing that while they were doing the Rio show, right? It was like every day they were, like Aaron just said, they're doing 2 full-time jobs. They're TV stars and they're magicians doing this evening show. That's a lot of work for a lot of years to be where they're at.
And I'm saying like 3 full-time jobs, because they're not just showing up and hosting a TV show. I mean, bullshit. They were doing an awful lot of the writing on all that stuff. They do they invent more of their own magic than any great magician, any famous magician you've ever seen. Just what Adam was saying, they did design that trick. They did prototype that trick. they did have untold cement blocks made, only to find out what was enough to be broken cement and what actually was dangerous, when that hammer comes crashing onto it. They've always had such a big role in all of the material they do. We all know how hard magic is to develop, and they've always packed their TV appearances with so much original thought and ideas. It's really just no secret in their case. They're really just the hardest working people in show business.
Yeah. William says just to be able to incorporate Teller's character without it getting uncomfortable is pretty difficult. Yeah. On a bigger picture. Yeah.
But that's sort of the whole game, right? It's like instant conflict because Penn is beating up on Teller and you're like, oh, why is he beating up on the little guy? It's like instant. You're like, whoa, conflict. Wait a second. There needs to be resolution. It's like a perfect theatrical device just like built into the act, right? It's really, really a beautiful thing that they've created there. That's for sure.
All right. We're going to go back now and we're going to look from 2001. So we're going to go a little further back and we're going to see something from the Conan show that is pretty spectacular as well. This is old Penn and Teller.
Sorry. You can see them at the Rio Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, July 20th through August 19th. Please welcome Penn and Teller. Gentlemen, nice to have you here.
Standing right here. We thought tonight we'd share a little bit of behind the scenes, how magicians, how we practice a lot.
Sort of like a VH1 behind the, yeah,
exactly.
Cool.
How you get into it, and this is also good. Anybody at home that wants to learn magic can do it. This is for straight sleight of hand. Like sometimes when baseball players warm up, they'll use heavy bats or a couple bats or something.
Right.
When we do sleight of hand, we use double-edged razor blades. And that means you're not only going to be quick, but you're also going to be very, very careful.
Because those things are those are incredibly sharp.
Yeah, and this is the Gillette brand, not with the same spelling that I have, but these are, this is what we use. Now, this razor blades, you usually think of, these are double-edged. So they're sharp here, and they're sharp here, and they're not sharp on the sides here. Usually think of using these to, shave a little bit of hair off there.
Right.
But,
shave your chest or something.
Sure, you can actually use these because it's dull here and dull here. This is the classic palm that you'd use for a coin, where you can put it in your hand like that. And with a slight, you can hold it right in position, just like that. It looks very natural. Now, if you want to get really advanced, this is so damn stupid that we're doing this. These sides are very sharp. If you don't slide, you don't get cut. So you can actually palm it like this.
Don't do that.
And hold it like that.
Okay.
And that gives you a very natural hand position that David Blaine uses when he does his specials. That natural hand position with
Ouch. Wow. I wasn't expecting that.
Zing.
And just 20 years later we see Blaine is still with us, baby. He's still the king too. That's pretty funny. You
don't see jokes like that anymore in the Penn and Teller show.
No, you do not.
There's nothing in there.
All right, enough of that now.
I'm the one that's not very good at this. Teller is astonishing. I don't know how much you know about sleight of hand, but watch this. He's going to do the classic palm here, and he does it beautifully. And then he can do the right up the sleeve thing, and right across, and then your classic out of the sleeve into a glass.
Very nice.
With the razor.
That was amazing.
Now, if you would come, just hold this grapefruit. Hold this grapefruit.
What you don't know is his whole back is bleeding right now.
And we'll put this right in here.
Okay.
And we're going to show you another classic. Now, that's what you would use for...
this is Halloween gone wrong.
To practice coins. But here's what you would use to practice cards. Ever seen anybody do a 4-ace trick? Where they have like 4 aces out of deck
and they
cards?
keep producing, yeah.
So you get 4 aces, 1, 2, 3, 4 aces. You put 1 ace away, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 aces. That's 4 aces. 1, 2, 3, 4 aces.
What's happening?
You put 1 away, and you have 2, 3, 4 aces, just like that. So you've got 4 aces. 1, 2, 3, 4. You put 1 away, and you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 aces, just like that. So that's how you would practice that kind of trick. Now that's just...
I have never felt, all I'm doing in this trick is holding this. Like a complete moron.
And you're doing a fine job, Conan, fine job. We're going to show you a classic illusion that you can do with magic, where this is not sleight of hand. This is the classic Chinese linking razor blades. Right there.
Okay.
And now, Conan, you get a chance to do a little something. You can pick any one of those razor blades. Just pick any one of those there.
This is going to take some time. What if I took 40 minutes right now?
Very careful.
Okay, I want that one right there.
Take it out.
I can take it out?
We trust you with this.
Okay, good.
Things.
Look.
And then take that. You might want to set it right down there on the table.
Okay, it's on the table.
And then write your name right across it. Real big, real definite, so you can recognize it again. Or write not even your name, anything you want.
It's too late. My name went down.
Okay, good. And you recognize that again. Now hold your hand, Conan, flat, like you're feeding a horse. It doesn't want to hurt you.
I've never been in the country. I don't know how to feed a horse.
But it will. Set it right there, and don't move your hand at all. Because,
trust me.
Yeah, the guy we rehearsed this with did, and we didn't like that. So here we go. We're going to just do this, show you this little magic thing here, where we take the shaving cream and put it right on there. And now, Conan, say the magic word, which is stearic acid, and squeeze! Squeeze!
No!
Squeeze the razor blade! Squeeze it! Oh! That's a familiar sensation, isn't it? And there's no blood. The razor blade is gone. Is the razor blade gone? Now, Conan, just tell me.
You give me a lot of credit here. Anyway, go ahead.
Tell me when to stop, Conan.
What?
Tell me when to stop.
Yeah, stop.
Right there?
Yeah.
That's the one you've chosen. And you've chosen one of these three beautiful grapefruits there. Is that too messy there? I just want to show you. Look at that. The menthol with the citrus. It's a beautiful
That's
smell.
great. I do love
Now, you know,
Gillette
when
products.
you're working as a nurse and you're working with learning to use a hypodermic needle, you first use a grapefruit because the puncturing of the flesh feels exactly the same as if you were cutting into a human. So I want you to watch this. You saw the grapefruit. You chose the grapefruit out of the three.
Yes,
now
I did.
tell us cutting into the fleshy pink center of the grapefruit. And there in the center of the grapefruit is one razor blade. And Conan, could you reach in there and get out of the center? Be careful not to hurt yourself.
I don't know if I can get it
can get
out. Here we go, right here. Okay, there it is right there, and pull it out.
And pull it out and show it to the camera, would you please, Conan? The very same razor blade.
That was very nice.
That was great.
Never seen that before.
Killer, right? Just killer.
Again, another whole thing put together for a TV appearance that had so much magic in it, man. I mean,
So much setup, so much shtick. You know,
What a great vanish of the razor blade, right? That was awesome.
I think that might have been a Steinmeier idea too. I mean, that vanish, that razor blade vanish was pretty Steinmeier-esque, you know. Yeah, it was really great.
all that talk of palming the razor blades only to then put the razor blade in his hand and have him. So, like, looking back on it, right, they demonstrate what secret holding of a razor blade would look like, and then put it in his hand, have him leave it there, don't move, and then vanish it himself. Pretty stunning to you when they start putting that whipped cream. It was it really grabbed all of my attention.
Yeah, there was definitely conflict in there. Like you know, when you're looking at designing and presenting your shows, like conflict is always good. You know, conflict is what sells a story. So, yeah, plenty of conflict in that. Squeeze. He was like, no, I don't want to do it. Like, it took him a minute to realize he was supposed to, because how would you know with two people like Penn and Teller what you're really supposed to do when they tell you? They might tell you to poke something in your eye. You just don't know. You know,
there's another clip I almost debated putting it in where it's Conan O'Brien with them, and Penn is doing a knife throwing demonstration, and Conan's got to go stand in front of the board and he's throwing the knives at him. But it's all a gag, right? They blindfold Conan and Teller just goes up and stabs the knife into the wall. But it's like right on the edge of being a little bit too much. But it's exactly what you're saying, where it's like, how much do I really want to trust these guys? You know, really strong conflict, right? The whole way through. You're just right on the edge of your seat the whole time. It's like watching a horror movie. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, and one thing we do see from watching very new Penn and Teller to old Penn and Teller, we see that, you know, there's a through line through the whole thing. Like, they always put the time in. They always are going to develop something original. They're always going to come from a really original place. You know, when you look at all those performances we just watched, like we watched a bunny, we watched a card trick with giant jumbo cards. We watched a sleight-of-hand demonstration with the fruit. And we watched the
glasses vanishing.
And the glasses vanishing. And every single one of those is some original take on an old plot of magic. And I would say is well within anyone's level to come up with. But I would have never thought of any of that stuff. Like, it's just amazing their thinking and their creativity behind how they decide to, you know, put together a routine. It really is.